All right, welcome to Comeback Athlete Podcast. I'm Blake, and I'm joined with head coach Connor. And yeah, man, we're just starting this thing out, and we're just trying to figure it out. You should have saw us before we got started. It was all kinds of technology stuff going on. So shout out to Josh Holt for helping us out here. Connor, how you doing today? What was your workout?
I'm doing great, bro. Yeah, I just got done working out. I did 3 rounds for time of 30 kettlebell swings at 70 pounds and then some 20 toe to bar. And then I did a power clean after that, just built to kind of like a moderate single.
Nice.
Got a good sweat in.
Yeah,
good.
That's always a fun one. Get some abs and some ollie lifting in. That was way better than mine. I did a 10K row test this morning at like 7 a.m. I know. It was the only time I could get a workout in today because I was just booked, and I'm like, this is not my normal workout time. So
did you get sub 40? What was your time?
I did 24 seconds faster than last time, so I was 38:24.
Let's go, man. That's
No,
awesome.
38:28. Sorry.
That's solid.
Don't. Yeah, it's all right. It's holding under 157 is tough for me for that long.
Oof. Yeah, that's mental for sure.
Yeah. And like my butt goes numb around.
I was just gonna
like
say,
lights
up the butt, man. You gotta
5,000 meters in. I'm like, dude, halfway, and I can't feel anything. All right, well, today we just wanted to kind of do a quick introduction to Comeback Athlete, which is what we coach through, and the vision for it. And Connor's been doing this. This is day one for me. I just signed papers today just to kind of be on the team, and really excited about it. But Connor's been doing this for how long? And I want to get kind of your take on the vision of Comeback to you and why it was appealing to you, and then I'll jump in and follow behind. But yeah, just what is Comeback Athlete, how you got there, and what your passion is about coaching remotely.
Yeah. So I've been with Comeback. It was formerly Foster Fitness, and we rebranded about a year and a half ago now. And I mean, it was kind of like an easy transition because I am a former athlete, right? So Comeback Athlete is all about coaching the former athlete, the one that wants to look and feel like an athlete again and still be competitive and throw down. So that was me. I was a college basketball player, ran track in college, and as soon as I finished college and not working out in that space anymore, I was like, man, I'm so tired of doing bicep curls. And I wanted to do something that was a little bit more just like, got my out. You know what I mean? Like I was just like, man, I want to do something where I can just throw down. But I didn't really know what that was or what that looked like. So I had a buddy that was getting coached by this guy about 6 years ago when I had this conversation with him. He was like, yeah, man, you got to hit up this guy named Jake Foster. And I'm like, all right, I'll hit him up. So I started getting coached by him, doing a little bit of mentorship, and then we realized we had very similar passions with ministry, with coaching, and that's kind of all she wrote, man. We went into business together, and we started Comeback Athlete, and that's pretty much been it. It's been a fun freaking journey.
Yeah, it's been fun. Like I've just started to get to know you in the last 2.5 months, but like watching you from a distance, just kind of like, who is this kid that Jake took on? And then all of a sudden he's like coaching everybody, and it's just been fun to watch you grow. And you only get I only get positive reviews for you. So I'm waiting to find the first negative one and be like, he is human. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So funny. We kind of have similar stories. I was introduced to Jake, who is the owner of Comeback. Or the primary owner of Comeback, right? I guess we're both head coaches and owners of some portion of it too. But so I was working out at OCI CrossFit back in the day, and Josh Duncan, who was a buddy of mine, was doing like this follow this app program, and I'm like tired of doing class. And I was a former athlete. I played college football. And CrossFit was like the thing that got me my that you talked about earlier. Right, it was kind of like, let's go do that. And then I got tired of doing class. Felt like I got hurt every 3 months, but like just still loved it and like needed to go, but hard, but not like I was competing for points or anything more than a weekend warrior. And Josh was doing stuff in the back. I'm like, bro, can I just jump in and do whatever you're doing? And he was like, yeah, I'm getting coached by by Jake, and you can jump in. So I think I did like free Jake Foster programming for like six to 8 months. I think I even still have on my True Coach like Josh's login. Not that I've ever gotten on it, but like it's just fun. It was on there for so long, and so I was doing it, and then after like Christmas, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hire Jake and do it myself. And it was a great experience. Jake's a phenomenal coach up at Mayhem, and he's doing cool stuff up there. But for me, it was just a great way to like take my training and get that but like a little bit personalized for me and getting after it. And just I learned so much, and I'm sure you could say the same in your own experience. But let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what has working with a remote coach been for you? And then what have you learned to give to your clients that you work with now out of those experiences, right? We've kind of been around some pretty good remote coaches. Jake's one of them. You've gotten to work with a couple other guys for mentorship. Yeah. Like, what are things that you've gleaned that you try to use as principles when you coach people?
Yeah. I mean, man, it's so funny. Like, I feel like, remote coaching's been around for a while, but I really feel like, it took a spike, obviously, during COVID for most people. And, I wasn't super familiar with it. I even remember, I think it was probably a couple months ago, I was looking back at, like, some old texts with Jake and I remember asking him, I was like, so are you going to, like, coach me over Zoom or something? And this was, like, literally during COVID, and I'm just, like, I was so confused. And, I've come from just, like, in-person training background. And, it was just it was all new for me. So I'm a quick learner. So as soon as I kind of got into the groove of how he was doing it with me, I was like, bro, I can be doing this myself. And I think once he knew that I was catching on quick, he was like, man, you just need to come and work with me. Come and work for me at first. And I was like, yeah, I would love to. Because I'm super relational, right? I love talking to people. I love building relationships.
Yeah.
So at first, I think I was kind of hesitant. I was like, how am I going to do that, remotely, right? Like, because I'm not going to be that, that one-on-one anymore, like face-to-face. But I realized I really have more communication now than I've ever had with my clients, just because I'm talking to them every day, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like if they have a question, if we're talking about life, like I have way more access to them than I've ever wanted to, rather than just seeing them once a week, right? Mm-hmm. So I love that part of the job where I get to like actually be a part of like not just their workouts, but like their life. Like, what are you doing at home? Like, how's your nutrition? How's your stress? Like, how's your relationships? Like, that's been huge. And you know this from your coaching mentors probably. Like, it's just coaching the full person, right? It goes way beyond workouts. So, a lot of when people hit me up for coaching, they're like, okay, like, can you build me out a workout plan? I'm like, listen, I don't do that anymore. Like, I don't do that. Like, because there's so much more to fitness than just a good workout, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that, was like a learning curve for me was, I think as a young coach, like just coming out of college, like 21, 22, I was like, okay, like I want to give the best workout and I want to coach it the best, right? Like if we're talking about in person.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, that is not really what was going to get somebody to their goals at the end of the day. Like, it's going to create a great relationship with them, but it goes way beyond that, right? Like if their stress is all out of whack, if their, life is chaotic, like a workout is not going to help them get to where they want to be, like fitness wise. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't say that better. And I feel like that's why I wanted to join Comeback, was that philosophy you just said right there. And Jake definitely rubbed that, into our experience of being coached by him. That was something I definitely learned a lot from him and the other coaches and mentors we've had. But I think like our ministry background too, just kind of seeing somebody as more than just a body or more than just a spirit or an emotion, but like the whole person, really was just like interesting to me. And it started actually for me kind of connecting them because I was in seminary trying to be a church planner before I became a full-time coach. And so I'm studying theology, I'm studying, anthropology and all this kind of cool stuff about humans and history, and trying to think through, like I wanted to work with inner city poor communities. And so I'm trying to think of like wholeness there. And here I was doing CrossFit as like kind of like the side thing.
Right.
And I would see these people come in and work extremely hard 6 days a week, and they couldn't lose weight. And I was like, what are you guys eating when you leave here? And they're like, oh, I'm eating paleo. And I'm like, how much dark chocolate are you eating in the paleo? Like, I'm like trying to figure out like, what's the missing bullet here? And, and I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just really confused. And then I started realizing like, it wasn't the hard workouts, like you're saying. It wasn't like how well the person coached it or didn't coach it. It was more of like the other things outside the gym, the emotional state, the sleep, the diet, the hydration, all of that stuff, and the little things that they just weren't doing or didn't know about.
Right.
And then once that clicked for me, I was like, oh man, I want to do this. I want to help people because I hate seeing people work really freaking hard and then not achieving their goals. So the other thing is just like, this is kind of a ministry to me. Like, I'm not trying to, I guess evangelize all my clients or something. But I do want to love them well. And part of loving them well to me is giving them a great experience. And that's impossible to not be relational in that. And so we're not just selling at Comeback a fitness program. I love that you said that. We really are selling like relationship coaching that is actually going to be a lot more connection because it's remote, because we have the ability to check in on you daily versus setting up a schedule to meet with you twice a week.
Right.
And because of that, like we want to go deeper with you. So I think like in conclusion, what would you say was like the thing you felt the most lost in? You alluded to this a little bit after college, after sports ended for you, and like what your fitness now gives you that you didn't have before, like something that you were missing that you were looking for that you now have, but maybe there's more to it than just what you were thinking.
Yeah, I love that question. I was actually just thinking about that, like not even for myself individually, but for like the people that we want to work with, is because I think that's what I really got almost burnt out of. Is I was so tired of showing up to the gym and coaching people like how to do a movement that I knew they could do by themselves. And I'm like, I'm just babysitting you right now. And so now fast forward to me, I'm getting out of college. It's like, I don't need a personal trainer. Like I don't need someone to show me how to necessarily move. Like tell me some cues to give me and I'm going to go and practice it. Right. Cause that's like also the athlete in me. So I think that's what I was missing so much. It's like, hey, I want a plan. Here's my goal. Right. Or I even need help maybe developing some goals. And then let's make a plan to like achieve those. And I think that's something, I could have done by myself, but it's like, man, I didn't want to worry about that because it's like that's what I'm doing for so many other people. That's why I always say it's like even if you're a coach, man, like you need to have a coach just because it is so important to like constantly get poured into. So that was a big thing for me. It's like I wanted to like bring my capacity to a whole nother level. Right, of like what do I know, what do I not know, how does somebody else coach, like how does somebody else do this successfully, but as a client, right, I wanted something that I can just show up, go through, and then have somebody constantly just pouring into me, giving me feedback, checking up on me, where I didn't have to do all the thinking part of it, right, I just got to show up and have fun, right, so that was huge for me. It's just, and that's another thing of why I love coaching former athletes. It's like, man, they know how to move pretty well for the most part, right? Yes, we gotta help them move even better, but it's like, man, like we don't really need to be there watching them do dumbbell bench or bicep curls, right? So it's like we gotta like make up this plan for them, so they gotta go have fun and crush their workout, and then we gotta talk about actually the cool stuff in life, right? Because that's another thing. It's like when you're doing one-on-one in-face personal training, it's like you can only talk about so much because you're actually having to coach them in person. So it's like if they go and do the workout, we give them feedback later, but then when we're talking and catching up, we're barely talking about the workouts. So it's just a cool mix.
It is a cool mix. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more for me to cover there. That was really well said. So we're going to wrap this one up. If you guys are interested in wanting to learn more about working with Connor or myself, Connor, where's a good place for people to reach out to you or DM you?
Yeah, my social media for sure. It's at Connor Custodio, ConnerCustodio. or you can email me. But I would say just reach out to me via social media. I feel like everyone's on social media these days. So
Yeah, and then you can hit me at Blake Scheidt, so SCHEIDT, not SHIT, which I've been called my whole life. Or you can just hit us up on our Comeback Athlete Instagram. That might be easier for some people, and we'll get back to you. So thanks for listening. We really appreciate you guys, and look forward to giving you guys more content here soon.